Welcome to Hidden Squidz Gaming. Today we're going to go over Families No Defense, Civil War, Victory at Sea, and Divine Omen. A real quick overview of all of the achievements before we actually get into them. Family is no defense. You'll be accusing someone in your family of sending assassins at you, and you will jail them, hence family is no defense. Civil War will be done by irritating the nobles and getting a low enough nobility. This is often done by not going to the party on week 28. We'll be defeating the fleet with naval strategy and not purely with magic. We will use a little bit of magic to help us, but it will not be Plunge into Depths achievement, which often releases the Kraken. And finally, Divine Omen. This is where you are blessed by cats. We're going to have low commoner approval as well, and this is how you get a Divine Omen. So we're going to have low commoner approval and low nobility throughout this playthrough, and we're going to try to correct them the best we can. In the Civil War, we are not going to take the fighting option, rather we are going to do the other one. Family is no defense. Family is no defense relies on an assassination attempt in week 17. Jocelyn hands us a piece of paper saying, "This is what we got from the assassin. You're going to need a ciphering skill to obviously decipher the code on the piece of paper." We only get that the assassin was sent from Merva, and if you know anything about the game, Merva has our mother's brother and his wife. So family, it would appear, has tried to assassinate us. While we are at the ball, we have an opportunity to confront Laurent, who is our uncle, about him sending the assassins. You can accuse him, and then you have a couple of options of not accusing him, and then you can go in for the achievement, which you just forcefully imprison him. I would visit him in the dungeons once or twice to make sure this achievement pops, but after you accuse him, it's pretty much over. If you want to solely commit to this playthrough, also get a lot of poison. I failed a poison check, so I'm not sure what happens, because eventually it would appear that Laurent goes insane, so he may have poisoned himself, but I don't know for sure. Achievement 2, Civil War. Civil War is accomplished by having low nobility approval. You can do this by obviously offending the approvals at any chance you get. Usually this is failing royal demeanors, elegance, composures, all this stuff. Obviously that relates to royalty. Another easy way is just not to go to the party at Sudbury, and usually that's enough to irritate them. There's a couple ways you can do Civil War. You can suggest a compromise where you marry one of her sons. You can refuse, which always turns into a war where you'll have military mights fight against each other. I would not recommend that for this playthrough, because if you lose any soldiers, you will not be able to do the Victory at Sea achievement. You can always do the ending where you accept the conditions and you are just a figurehead and you go around the castle not having any responsibility or power. You are just merely there for, as I said, a figurehead. Civil War is fun. There's multiple achievements to get in that. In this playthrough, we do agree to marry the son, so that's also for the Good Nova achievement. At this point, I would recommend that you save and you try out all three options, just so you don't have to come back through and play all three differently. If you do the military option, you kill Arissi and you get everyone back in order. Like I said, if you accept, the game ends, and the other one, you suggest a compromise and Arissi becomes an advisor, and she's very annoying in my honest opinion. Finally, we get to Victory at Sea. There's a couple of steps in this that you need to do to make sure that you get this perfectly done. You're going to have to lose 0 troops up until you go to battle, so fighting in the earlier weeks is not a good option here. You're also going to need more warships, which you can do on week 25 with a couple of skill checks. It requires logistics and production and trade and all that stuff, because you start beginning to notice the trade patterns that are happening, and you get a sense that Shanjia is ordering materials for a larger war fleet. On that week, you order more warships. At the competition, you say employment, because that will employ more soldiers. If you made a deal with the Lexing Knights, you can also have them as an ally, which is another achievement. I did it solo with some magic. Also to note in this playthrough, we had to get naval strategy to 110. We had to do that because when you take Arisi, who comes along with Silver War, as your advisor, you have to do an additional skill check you normally don't have to do, and that caught me off guard my first time through this playthrough. So this playthrough, it's all good, it's taken care of, the guide is below, but you're going to need 110 naval strategy, or at least 10 swimming and 100 in naval strategy. It's to convince her that you can swim and you can command the army. Eventually you win, and after your victory you are thrown a ball, and there is no consequences for doing this. There's no Kraken because you did not use magic to sink an entire fleet, thus disrupting the depths below. Also, you can get Hostage to Fortune achievement by ransoming the rich and conscripting the poor. Or ransoming any of the people. I just did the ransom the rich and conscript the poor, so they could continue my military might. Achievement 4, Divine Omen. Divine Omen's very straightforward. You need a very low commoner approval, and then you need 30 divination and 80 herbs, and that is it. The idea is that you go out with your medical knowledge, you wow the people see that you are helping them on the streets, and then with the omen or the blessing of cats, which is like entails, cats begin to follow you, so people are like, wow, you are the true ruler and we must look up to you. They call it an omen of royalty and divine favor when the cats follow you. So therefore, between you healing people and having cats follow you, you appear to be a much better queen than you were throughout the rest of the game. It's a very quick scene, it's literally only one slide of text, but it's a little fun. Thank you for watching. I'll be putting up other playthroughs. Let me know if there's any you'd like to see.